Not anymore. Yes, I was a broken woman. Yes, I didn't love me. Yes, I decided to settle for what wasn't best for me. Yes, I was in a toxic relationship. Guess what? Not anymore. I have grown from the broken pieces. I have learned to love me when no one else loved me. I have learned that I will never settle for in my life or my peaceful atmosphere. I have learned the difference between love, lust of a good relationship. Yes, I wasn't perfect, but I learned to work on my mind, my body, and my soul connections. Yes, I have allowed the wrong spiritual around me. Now I've learned about the not allowing the negative energy around me. Yes, I've been down the road of destruction. Now I've learned how to not move by emotion, but by the spirit of my faith and purpose. Not anymore, my fears will not keep me from being a better version of me. Not anymore, my toxicness will stop me from loving myself or trusting others in my peaceful place. Not anymore, my lack of post-trauma is going to stop me from my future growth. Yes, not anymore. I know I'm powerful. I know I'm overcoming. I know I'm a positive. I know I'm loved. And yes, not anymore. I'm dope. Dedicated to other people's empowerment. I love my dopeness and so should you. What you are and who you should become. Power. The power of worth, elevation, evolving, resistance. I push through the pain to get to the power. I keep going to get this power. I knew that it was given to me by grace and to know my purpose. You get pushed through this pain to get to this power. That tends to give a divine scar, but the power gives you reinforcement. Pushing past the pain to let your voice be heard. Pushing past your fears to let your voice be heard. How much faith do you know to overcome your fears? You have blessing to someone to hear. There's a message in your words. There's a power in your voice. Keep pushing through your pain to keep that power. I keep my faith over fear to have the power in my voice to be heard. You have the power. You are resilient and you have the strength. Your voice is powerful and you need to know that you're powerful. Hold on to that power. Hold on to that power. Hold on to that power, which is the power in your voice. Use it to stand by grace. Use it to know your worth. And use it to be ready to show your knowledge. The power in your voice. A platform to be defined, which is inspiring, which is impeccable to give knowledge, and which is a place to grow, to be walking in your purpose, and being very amazing. The power in your voice. Hold on to it. Hello. Thank you for tuning in to the Power in Your Voice show. I am your host, Sheena Gadine, and today we are here with D.A.G Award winning nominee, B.J. Howard. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for
That
having
is
me.
no problem. Can you introduce yourself to the people and tell them where you are and what you do?
Well, my name is B.G. Howard, boy, girl Howard, and I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, a former business owner turned fiction author.
Awesome. So, what made you become an author?
In short, an accident. I was um, I was self-employed, had a couple of businesses, and to make a very long story short, one day I made the fateful mistake of saying, "Lord, I want to retire early. And he said, okay. And he pushed the truck out in front of me.
Wow. Wow.
So I underwent a very, very long time. I was in a coma for 7 months, and
Mm,
that was preceded by about 8 years of rehab. And I had to start life all over again, literally.
wow. Yeah, definitely, especially being in a coma and you had to learn how to walk again and everything too?
Yes, ma'am. I suffered, I suffered a severe head injury.
Wow.
That's that's the prompting of the stutter. But I have problems with my memory, difficulty sometimes speaking. My balance is not good. So it's a state of proverbial rehabilitation for the rest of my life.
Right. Well,
So
the Lord bless you to still be able to write this book. So can say it's an amazing thing, right? A blessing and a curse.
you could say that. You could say that.
So what would you could say was your challenges writing this book?
Oh wow. Well, I had to learn how to type all over again.
Okay.
Um, I wow. I the way it happened, the way it transpired, it was nothing like. Well, for me, it was nothing like I would imagine. I would have imagined anybody would endure when choosing to write a book, because
Right.
I never chose to write the novel.
Right.
I in the process of my rehabilitation, recovery, um, I was okay. Previously, like I said, I was self-employed. I had
Mhm.
two businesses. My average work week was 150 hours.
Right.
So I go from warp speed to crickets, and it was like overnight. But what was overnight for me was actually 7 months later because I was asleep all the time.
Right.
So when I was undergoing the rehabilitation process, rehabilitative process, I I didn't have anything to do, so I would just I ordered an internet subscription, and I would sit literally all day um, surfing the internet. I bought a lot of things I didn't need, one time only, as seen on TV, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
And so one day I'm sitting at the computer, and this idea pops into my mind. I'm like, what is this? So I dismissed it for like a period of about 6 8 weeks, and I literally got frustrated, and I said, this thing is not going to leave me alone. So when you open the novel, the
Mhm.
first 2 pages, that's exactly the way they came out. And I read it, and I was like, "What is this?" But it made me feel better.
Right.
So it interpreted it as more therapy
Mhm.
than anything else.
Right.
So every morning I come to the computer, and I go, "Okay, what you got?" And I'd sit down and I'd write what came. And the original novel, Family Ties Thicker Than Blood, was launched in April of 2020.
Mhm.
Um, I, I didn't know what I was doing. So
Right.
after it wasn't until after I launched the novel that I went back to read how to write a novel.
Okay.
And so when I did that, I realized there were some things you wouldn't know it by reading the first version. But
Mhm.
when I made the changes, the modifications to make it more appropriately line up with part two. So the current novel is revised edition, and it's important
Okay.
to put the revised edition because if you don't, you'll get the first one. But the
Right.
revised edition, Family Ties Thicker Than Blood, and
Mm.
that one came out last year in April.
Okay.
The follow up, I'm hoping to launch that one in December.
Okay.
Family Ties 2, Blood Covenant.
Mm. Okay. I like the title.
Well, thank you.
So, so tell me, like you said, it was therapeutic. So, what do you feel that you learned about yourself during this mission?
Well, my mom, my late mother, she used to say stubborn. I say tenacity because it takes a lot to get to this point. I mean,
Right.
it's writing the novel. Honestly, was a whole lot easier than selling it.
Okay.
And I have a prior to years before my moving to Jacksonville, I worked at the local newspaper back home in Georgia, and I was involved with advertising. I used to do ad sales, makeup, make layout, and design. But that being said, you can have the greatest product in the world, but if nobody knows you have it, you still got no product.
Right.
So that has been the most monumental challenge of this process is actually selling the book.
So, to anybody that's out there trying to market, what advice would you give them from your point of view? Since you feel, because a lot of us, we do feel that marketing, selling the book is like sometimes the hardest part, sometimes. Because, like you said, nobody would know that you have a great read,
Exactly. I
So,
mean, go ahead.
no, what do you feel that you learned through your marketing journey trying to sell the book?
Firstly, know your competition. It doesn't make sense for you to have a novel, a fiction novel. Case in point, I have a fiction novel, and it doesn't make sense for me to sell it at $35 a copy because you've got people who are out there with fiction novels, same similar length, and they're selling theirs for 14.99 and 15 and 18.99. So you can't price yourself out of the market. Number one. Number two, uh, as much exposure as you possibly can, because sometimes I've had situations where I mean just today, honestly, preparing for this podcast, I had to run out, and when I stopped by the gas station, there was a young lady there, and she saw my I have a shirt with my brand is my brand, so
Mm-hmm.
I
You are
every
your brand, so
well,
absolutely.
yes, thank you, but I wear shirts. Shirts with my family ties, my book, my brand on it, and she asked me about the shirt, and I was telling her about the shirt and the fact that my wife makes them, and she asked me. Then that led to a conversation about the book, the novel, and as I started reading, she goes, "Where can I get it?" I said, "Right here," and she said, "Right here." I said, "Yes," and I got one out of the truck, and I said, "I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm going to let you read. I'm going to allow you to read the back cover." And she read the back cover while I was pumping gas. Then she she read the introduction, and then she started perusing a few of the pages, and she goes, "Wow, this does not read like you're a first time author."
Right.
And I took that as negative, and she goes, "Oh, no, 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 no. I mean, I mean it. Is it the most complimentary as I can possibly be. This is a very good read."
Right.
And she was like, "I just read the first few pages, and I'm already hooked." So that was a it was a promising feeling. I'll put it that way.
Right.
And she said that she's associated with this group, this club, and she says, "I'm gonna read this before my meeting next week, and everybody's gonna hear about this." So
That's
I say,
awesome.
as much exposure as you can possibly get.
Absolutely. Listen, I remember selling mine in that the very first book that I had. I remember selling it in the McDonald's drive-through. So I understand as much
Really?
exposure. Yes, I was literally in the drive-through, and I happened to been having a conversation with the person that was doing the order. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm an author, blah blah blah." And it was like, "Oh, where's your book?" I said, "Oh, I'm a poet." So then they was like, "Oh, I want a copy." So I pulled over, went inside the McDonald's after that, and they bought a copy. It was the manager at McDonald's.
Wow,
Mhm. I've
that's
sold
good.
it at McDonald's, I've sold it standing in line in Walmart, so mhm.
Well, you've gotten me everywhere except McDonald's. I haven't been to McDonald's. As a general rule, I don't eat fast food, but don't tell anybody
Gotcha.
that.
I
Um,
won't.
but yeah, I have sold it at Walmart. I've sold it at cost um, Lowe's and Home Depot. Yes,
Mhm.
wherever I am, because 9 times out of 10 I wear the shirts.
Right. Yeah, that's and that is a key thing. You have to wear your brand because that starts a conversation.
Right,
For people
exactly.
like, oh, what's this or what's. So I definitely understand. So that is great promotion because you are your brand. And in order for people to know who you are, you have to promote yourself. So that is a
Exactly.
wise and very key gem for people. So promote, promote, promote consistency. So how do
Nobody
you
else is gonna market you.
r- right, exactly. So when you found out that you was a nominee for the Z.A.G Awards, how did you feel?
Uh, honestly, there's not very much that gets me excited.
Mhm.
I was pleased, of course, and that served as that served as affirmation. I'm like, maybe I can write. So it was like I appreciated the nomination. I'm very appreciative of the nomination, but to me it just served more as confirmation of the fact that I can write, and it compels me to want to do better.
Absolutely. It's always a good challenge to challenge ourselves to just take it up a notch from every book that we do right. So I actually
Yes,
understand
yes.
that. So what do you feel is your inspiration behind this book? I know you said it happened during your process. So what inspired you? Because you said you wasn't gonna be an author, it just happened. So, it was an
No,
accident. So
actually, I finished the novel. Well, what turned out to be the novel. I finished that in 2005 or six, and I literally just filed it away on the computer and
mm,
started working on something else because to me it was therapy,
right.
and I filed it away on the computer. Fast forward 7, 8 years, and I had met her name is Sandra, but
Hmm.
I had met my wife, and well we weren't married when we met, but I met
Right.
her, and subsequently got married, but we got a call one evening around 6 o'clock in the evening, and our son in Massachusetts says to my wife, she's having a baby. I'm taking her to the hospital.
Oh,
And my wife was like, "No, she can't have that baby. I want to be there." And I'm like, okay, that might be a stretch." But anyway,
right.
we went to Massachusetts, anticipating being there for a couple of weeks, but she's having a baby. Well, as it turned out, it was false labor.
Mm.
So as opposed to the 2 weeks that we were anticipating being there, we ended up there for 2 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And she got bored, and she came to me one day and she said, "Did you not? You told me you wrote a book before." And one of the consequences of the accident, my memory is not really good,
Right.
and so that's why I keep a daily journal. But
Mhm.
so I didn't even remember having written
Hey,
the book,
got you. Okay.
and so I had to go back in my computer. It took me a couple of days to find it, but I copied it to a flash drive, and I gave it to her. She came back a few days later, and she's like, "Babe, you have to do something with this." And I said, "Do something with what?" And she said, "This is really good." And I said, I don't even. I wasn't very self confident because
Right.
because of the things that I've been through, and
Mhm.
it's just difficult.
Right.
But so she says to me, "You have to do something with this," and I said, honestly, um, I can't call myself a Christian and write the content that's in that book because that was written primarily prior to my meeting her,
Right.
and she has helped me on a great deal develop that quote unquote relationship with
Right.
the Lord. Because I grew up Southern Baptist. You go to church
Mhm.
on Sundays. You pay tithes if you think about it.
Mhm.
You go to Bible study on Wednesday, and
Mhm.
you're good.
Right.
That's what we thought. And so anyway, I was in the process of developing a better relationship with the Lord, and that was my honestly, that was my apprehension about
Mm.
even moving forward with the publication.
Okay.
And one of our spiritual mothers, she said to me, she said, "Well, baby, why won't you publish the book?" And I said, "Because I'm because of the content." And she
Mhm.
says, "Well, the Lord knows we curse.
Right.
The Lord knows we have sex. Um, so she helped me to get over that
That hump.
barrier,
Right.
right? And so I moved forward in 2016, but I didn't know how to publish. I didn't know anything about the process.
Right.
So I honestly entered into a couple of situations where I got scammed,
Mm.
got taken for
Granted.
my money. I won't
Right.
say how much, but it was enough.
Right.
And
Any amount is enough.
yes, you've been there.
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
but anyway, so eventually, it came to light. The book was published, and because I because I was suffering from lack of self confidence.
Mhm.
Uh, well, I was suffering from lack of confidence in my ability
Right.
because it had not been confirmed,
Right.
and so I opted to go the route of self publication, and it's been a slow roll,
Mhm.
but things are honestly picking up.
And that's awesome. That is awesome. Do you have any authors you feel that inspired your career?
Oh wow, ha, I liked Eric Jerome Dickey. I like Michael Bazin. I mean, who doesn't like John Grisham?
Right.
Um, there's several other authors. Like right now, it escapes me, but there's
Mhm.
several. I'll read anything. I just like like music. Books. I like to read anything.
Right.
Um, so, but those are the ones that stick out. Like most recently, I read most of the stuff by Eric Jerome Dickey.
Yeah,
Um,
haven't read him in a while, but that was one of my top ones too. Eric Jerome Ticky, and I liked it Mary Moore. So
right. I
she
mean,
was another one I liked.
that's what actually got me into because my problem is because of because of the condition
Mhm.
in 2006 ish. I was diagnosed with a brain condition. It's called static encephalopathy. Big fancy word for brain
I was gonna ask you what that was.
damage. Yeah. Well, that consequently plays a big role. Like that's like I said before. That's the reason why I keep a daily journal because
Right.
my memory sometimes escapes me, and you know, I I ruled out problems. I don't do problems anymore.
Okay.
I have obstacles. I have
Right.
challenges.
You're right.
So in my wrestling with these obstacles and trying to overcome these challenges, you know, I sometimes have to just stop, back up, and regroup.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
but that
Just
the
being
most challenging part of writing because it's like when you write and like when I went back and researched how to write a novel, I learned that you're supposed to outline the novel, the story.
mhm.
You detail the characters, descriptions, so on and so forth, behaviors and things like that. But that's not the way I wrote.
Right.
I literally came to the computer every morning
And just
and
wrote.
just picked up where I left off with no outline, no structure, no direction. I just wrote.
Right.
And I like to say the story wrote itself. I
Mhm.
just happened to be there taking notes.
Sometimes it happens. It's like a download.
Exactly.
It's like a download, and it's like it comes to you, and it's like, all right, this is what I have to put down on paper. It's a download, and I get what you're
Exactly.
saying as far as when it comes to not doing an outline, and it's just a download. You wake up, it's there, it has to be written. This is what's downloaded for today. I
You're
have to put it
exactly
on
right.
paper. So I actually honestly get and understand all that.
And so
I
you're exactly right because stop. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's what happened. That's how it transpired.
mhm. Yeah, not everybody they'll tell you how to write a book, but not everybody writes like that. So, the definition on there, you go look it up, like what are you supposed to do to become an author, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But not everybody does that. I know I'm not like that. I don't do outlines. I
Yeah.
am a downloader. I am, like, when it happens, I have to get a pen and paper and I write. Like, I travel with a notebook
Yes. I
because
think,
I can be anywhere and it just downloads, and I have to write it down because, like you said, I know I'll forget. So, and you know
well,
what I mean? So I'm like, all right, I need to write this down because I have to get the information. Because it's even sometimes in my dreams, it'll happen, and I'll
mhm,
wake up with it on my mind, and it has to go to the computer. Like, all right, I need to get this.
immediately.
And see, I'm a
That,
pen to a paper girl. So soon as I have to do it pen to paper, then I write it in the computer. So I do a whole notebook pen to paper first, then it goes
well,
to the computer.
well, see, I have difficulty with my hands, the
Yeah,
nerve damage. I have difficulty writing. So,
understand.
I have to,
Use the
I
computer.
have to go to the computer because, um, I had to practice to learn how to sign my name all over again.
Right.
So
Yeah, because we're
about,
gonna need all them signatures, when you get famous and I see you on the,
I've gotten so much
on the computer.
practice.
Yes.
um, but that's the one thing that I had to practice because, for legal issues, signing checks
Hmm.
and things like that,
Right.
um, I had to learn how to sign my name,
Right.
and that took me months and months and months. And even the way I hold my pen is different
Hmm.
because if I hold it the way that you're supposed to, I can't do it. So
Okay.
basically, all my life has been my entire life has been about modifying, adapting, and trying to overcome.
And reconstructing, basically.
Exactly. Good
Make
word
it.
for it.
It's like the new chapter of the new you that reconstructed now to what's happening. Like you said, adapting to what's going on.
Can I borrow some of those definitions? Because you do a good job of explaining things.
Sure, absolutely. So tell me, I know you said you're looking to release another book in December, which will be part two.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Is there any other books in the making, or is we just focusing on chap part two right now?
Well, because of I don't like to blame everything on the condition, but as I tell people, I'm not an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm
Right.
a realist with a twist.
Right.
And it took me years to grasp the fact that I am. Hmm, they say disabled. I say physically challenged.
Right.
Um, but if you give me enough time, I can work around it. I can work my way through it. I just have
Absolutely.
to have enough time.
Mhm.
So before I even started this journey, I have the first three. Well, it will be three. The first three novels, the
Okay.
original, the revised, and part two.
Mhm.
Um, those all manifested from the first manuscript.
Right.
I have a second manuscript that I'm about 85, 90% complete.
Okay.
It will either be a very long fourth book, or books four and five. And then I've got a third manuscript that I'm about maybe 30% complete.
Okay.
And earnestly, I have scripted storylines for 22 other books.
Oh, so we got a long journey coming. All right.
It's very long because it takes me so long. It takes me so long to finish one.
But I can say that I am proud of you and congratulations on working on part two. So listen,
Thank you.
kudos. Kudos.
In fact, I have after the conclusion of my time with you. Thank you, by the way. Um, I have to get the final edits to the. I have to get the final edits to the layout and design team, and that should make it possible for them to get me the print files by the end of next week. So
For
the
the
hope
second
is
book.
for the well the It's confusing. For the third, it'll be the third book. But
Okay, the third book. Okay, because
right,
we got
the
the
follow up,
first book, the revised, and got you.
right. So the follow up to the revised edition.
Right, got
So
you.
it will be the second, the third novel, but the second book in the series. No, I'm sorry.
Understand.
The,
Got you.
okay, I'm confused.
It'll be because it's the first novel, but you revised it. But
Right.
it'll be part two to the first in the revised,
There you go.
basically. I
It'll
got it.
it'll be the final it'll be the final insertion. Yes.
Right.
But
Right. And
so 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 so
I
so
kudos. And you said December, right?
and my plan is to launch that one
The plan is December.
the second week in December.
Okay, that right before Christmas. Great Christmas
Right.
gifts for people. That
Uh,
should market strategy around Christmas time. See? I
exactly.
understand. I understand.
Gotcha.
Would you like to read a snippet out of your book?
Um,
I was
sure.
about to say you don't have to, but you can.
Well, I
We
mean,
take snippets. I
I
made
personally
everybody I made everybody else read a snippet.
okay. Well, I don't want to be. I don't want to be a nonconformist.
But you
Um,
don't have to. It's an option.
well, I mean, if you don't mind the stutter,
No, I don't.
I'll
Listen,
I'll,
that's
I'll,
what
I'll
makes you unique.
I'll do my best. Do my best to get through it without too much into that.
You all right.
Probably the more appropriate thing to do. I can read the introduction, or I can start with. You know what I used to do? Honestly, I would say to people, instead of me giving them what I want them to hear, I would say, okay, it has 21 chapters, and the average page count per chapter is 18 to 20 pages. So you give me two numbers, the first between 1 and 21, and the second one between 1 and 20, and we'll see how that works.
Um, I'll go with 8 and 2.
8 and 2.
Yep.
Okay, so that means we go to chapter 8, and we read page 2. Now it's not going to make sense, of course, because you're in the middle of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But page 2. Miss Lady, it's Willie from earlier this afternoon. You gave me a ticket because I parked at the corner of 103rd Street and Broadway. Well, you didn't exactly give me a ticket. You did, but you took it back, and then you gave it to me with your number on it. Suddenly, the recording was interrupted by what sounded like. I'm sorry, I gotta take these off. I can't see. Suddenly, the recording was interrupted by what sounded like someone fumbling with the receiver. Hello, hello. Wait 1 second. There was a momentary silence. Then a series of short beeps. I started to hang up. Hey, Willie, I'm glad you called, Ernestina summoned. I felt the need to explain. Sorry it's so late. I'm just now leaving my godparents at 103rd Street. I didn't want to not call. I didn't want to not call you though. That's okay, she said. I really wasn't expecting to hear from you today anyway. When we ran into each other this afternoon, obviously you were already had plans. Meeting me was an unexpected thing. I laughed. That's one heck of an explanation for it. So, do you often give your address and phone number to total strangers, guys that you happen to run into? No, actually, I don't. But you're different, she said. That's not exactly safe, giving your address to a total stranger, I said. But like I said, you're different, she stated again. Still, I am a total stranger. Not a total stranger. You forget. I am a police officer. I am a police officer, she reminded. I've already had you checked out, to make sure you are okay, just the standard issue stuff like what you do, where you live, that sort of thing. You know what? You're not right, I commented. She couldn't have any idea how much that troubled me. Is that why you are screening your calls? She paused. I'm not right only if you're not right. and it's not a point of me of screening my calls. I actually just finished it up in the shower. It always feels good to wash this city off of me when I get in.
I gotta
So,
get that book.
ma'am.
I said I gotta get that book. I see
Well,
why the lady at the bus station was caught up already.
I mean, she. I was actually standing at the pumping, pumping, pumping my gas,
Mm-hmm.
and she saw this. Let me. Okay, I'm gonna. She saw the shirt. This is the shirt. Uh, this is the shirt. So she saw the shirt, and that prompted a conversation. Like as you
Mm-hmm.
said, it prompted a conversation, and one thing led to another. And then I said to her, I said, I'm not gonna. I said, I'm an author. I said, but I'm not gonna sell you the book.
Right.
What I'll do is I'll let you read it. Now I'll let you read the back cover copy. And so I was pumping during the time I was pumping my gas. She read the back cover copy, and I glanced up, and she had opened the book. She read the introduction, and as I finished, she was like to page 3 or 4 in the novel, and she goes,
Yeah.
I gotta get this." She goes,
Mm-hmm.
"Where's it available?" And I said, "Well, it's
Right
on
here.
all the .coms." I said,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Goodreads.com, Books.A.Million.com, DraftToDigital.com. I said, but the best place to get it is right here. And she said, right here. And I said, yes, ma'am. I have a couple of copies in the truck, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, yeah, I really, really would like to have one because she mentioned she's a member of this group. I don't even know.
Probably like a book club or something, or some type of group that they read. Probably.
And she said that she was going to take it home tonight and start reading it because
Mm-hmm.
they have a meeting next week.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, if you don't mind, I'll mention it to my to the group. And I said, by
Mm-hmm.
all means.
Yeah, it's probably like a book club because you have some book clubs that they have certain books they have to read that month, or you'll read a book and you'll tell them about it, and then they'll end up getting everybody in the group will end up getting your book because it's a read that they would have to do. So yeah, it's probably like a book club or some sort of type of thing. But that'd be dope. Absolutely, it's
Well,
marketing. It's
that
another
would
great
be
way.
that would be very good, very
Ab-
good.
Absolutely. So, would you like to leave the viewers with an inspirational words for the rest of the week and tell them how to connect with you and how to purchase your book?
Okay, well, the first order of business, the best way to connect with me, my website is www.authorbghoward.com. www.author, B like boy, G like girl, Howard.com. And you can that's my website. And you can contact me there. You can leave a message or email me directly, bg boy girl bg at authorbghoward.com. So either of those means you can contact me. And if you want to order a novel, at this point, because I'm getting ready to launch the next one, um, I'm looking. I'll knock five. It'll be $5 off any novel you purchase. The uh, paperbacks are 19.95. You get that right. Paperbacks are 19.95, and the hardcovers are 29.95. But you'll get $5 off of those prices, plus free shipping if you wish to order a novel. And also on my website, if I can be so bold,
You can.
um, you can have one of the shirt that I'm wearing, or this shirt. And there are you can I won't take up a whole lot of your time, but you can check them out on the website. There are several different styles of shirt, and you can order those in whatever size you want, up to, I think it's 3x, up to 3x. Um, and as far as my parting words, life experience has taught me, no matter what happens, live life in forward motion. You look back to assess where you've been. You look around to know where you are. But the purpose is living life in forward motion.
And
Because
those
if
are
you
some
stagnate, you never go any further.
that's some powerful words. Listen, people need to hear that because a lot of people are looking backwards instead of looking forward to their future. So I hope y'all take those gems. I hope y'all take all the gems he's has dropped today. As always, this have been your girl, Sheena Gadon, better known as the lady behind the mask. It's always been a pleasure to have you here, DJ Howard, BJ Howard, here on the Power in Your Voice podcast and show. Always thank y'all for tuning in to the inspiration, the motivation, and the education. We thank you. And as always, we will catch you next time.
Thank you so much.
Life struggles. When life tries to fight you back, you have to be ready to fight back. You have to be ready to stand your ground and be able to. Unfortunately, life is and bold. We learned that there are people that do not want to see you rise. They rather see you fall and be defeated. The strength that you carry